and you're gonna go spend it. Whatever is left over, you can put it. This total amount, we already talked about what sinking funds are. Hello, hi friends. How are you all doing? I hope that you are all having a lovely, blessed day. Thank you so much for clicking on this video today. For this video, I'm going to be talking about sinking funds. But before I do so, I would like to introduce myself. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Delia Mireya. On my channel, you're going to find videos such as cash stuffing, budget with me, all cash stuffing videos. I'm on a journey and I pray that someday in the near future I will be debt free. I started budgeting about a year now. I was able to save money, and that's when I decided to share these videos with you all. I'm hoping that I can inspire you to save money, also learn to budget. To get started, I printed a calendar for the month of June. To start with sinking funds, you have to look at your calendar first. You have to do your budget, pay your priority bills first. So you're going to look at your calendar, check when are your paydays. For the month of June, there are 2 paychecks. I think the question of the day, or why you clicked on this video, is because you really want to know what is a sinking fund. I'm going to go through the whole process with you, that how many sinking funds you can have, how much money you can set aside, and all of that good stuff. A sinking fund is money that you set aside from your budget. It could either be the cash that you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. This amount of money is going to be for a specific upcoming expense. Unlike a general savings account or an emergency fund, which I'll explain a little bit more. Now, a sinking fund has a clear purpose attached to it for an upcoming expense in the future. Whether it's to save money for a vacation, to buy a car, down payment on a home, a big ticket splurge, or something you've been wanting for a while. I have a friend who loves purses, so she has a sinking fund set aside just for her purses, because her purses are expensive. It could be money that you're going to set aside for something that you have always wanted for. Now, another question that you might be having is, okay, now I know what a sinking fund is, but how do I start the sinking fund? So once you have made your budget, I have so many videos on budget with me, how to budget for beginners. I will leave you those videos in the description box below. Now, once you have set money aside for your budget, which for me is paying all of the priority bills, bills that need to be paid. For example, you need to pay for your rent, your mortgage, you need to pay for electricity, water, cell phone, all the needs to survive, or even groceries. Once you've set money aside for all of that, now you can calculate how much of that money you have left over. I will give you examples in a moment. So to determine how much to save for each sinking fund, you're going to take the total amount you want to spend and you're going to divide it by the number of months or weeks you have left in the year. For example, Christmas. You want to spend a total of $600 a year. This is just an example. If you feel comfortable with that amount, $600 to spend on all the Christmas gifts for your whole family, then you're going to set your sinking fund or that little savings. It could be either in a cash envelope or in a separate savings account. That's going to be your budget or the amount that you want to save, $600. Let's say we have 6 months left in the whole year. That could be saving $100 a month or $50 bi-weekly. If you think that's a doable amount and you feel comfortable with that amount for a sinking fund for that category, then you're good to go. I'm going to give you a more detailed example in a moment. One more thing that I want to mention is that with a sinking fund, you're pretty much giving yourself permission to spend this money. You won't feel guilty about it. You're also going to feel happy that you were able to save up that amount, and best believe it that it's possible to pay for anything with cash. Now, let me tell you a quick story. Years and years ago, I had purchased a computer from a rent-a-center place. I live in a very small town, so there aren't many places that sold laptops. So I bought one, and I think I paid cash for it, and I paid so much more than what I would have at a store. I'm talking about years and years ago, where I'm in my mid-30s, just so you can have that idea. But I was in college, and I wanted to get a laptop, and they were only selling the desktops at that moment. At Walmart, they didn't have laptops yet. Oh yes, I'm that old. I don't even know if they had Best Buy, to be honest, because I live in a very small town and I wouldn't go out much. I'm making this story too long. Anyways, I bought this laptop from a rent-a-center, and it was so much more than the actual price of the laptop at a store, right? If I would have went to, let's say, a Best Buy. But a lot of people do buy things from rent-a-center places. I don't really recommend those places because they're charging a very high interest. I mean, it's doable because you pay a little bit each week. I ended up paying cash for it, but still it was expensive at this rent-a-center place. I didn't do the pay weekly thing. If you pay weekly, they tell you, oh, you can pay $40 a week, but you end up paying more that way than paying for it cash, when you could just have a sinking fund for a laptop, save all that cash, and then go to the store and buy the laptop that you've been wanting for. So that's just a quick example there, that it's doable, it's possible for you to save money. And I know it's going to take a while to save this money, but it's going to be so much worth it. Another thing that I want to mention is that there's different places where you can store your sinking funds. Some people might not feel safe leaving their sinking fund in an envelope at home. So what you can do is you can open a separate savings account with your bank. Whenever you get paid, set that money aside and put it in your savings account. I know that many banks nowadays, they have like a option where from your paycheck you can get a certain amount each paycheck automatically and transfer it over to your savings account. Just an idea out there. Also, you have to decide how much you need to save, which I already went over. You're going to calculate the total amount that you want to spend and divide it by the number of months or weeks that are left in the year. We already talked about what sinking funds are, how you save for those sinking funds. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, give me some examples of sinking funds. So here they are. And also, how many sinking funds can I have? I'll go over that in a moment. So an example of sinking funds, you could save for Christmas, tires or an oil change, or even your car battery or your car tags, car maintenance if your car ever breaks down or it needs anything. If you want to buy a car, there can be another sinking fund. Toiletries, a wedding. Doesn't necessarily have to be your wedding. It could be a friend's wedding. Let's say you're going to be a bridesmaid, or it's a family member that's getting married. You want to wear a pretty dress. You want to buy some heels. You want to get your nails done. You can start saving for that wedding. A pet, it could be pet food, little treats, or it could even be to take your pet to the doctor whenever that time comes around, because we all know that pets get sick, so we need to save money ahead of time. Birthdays, I didn't used to save for this. Now I started. Sometimes we would get invited to birthday parties and we didn't have money set aside for that. And now I don't feel guilty. Whenever we get invited to a birthday party, I can just get the cash from that envelope, give the cash as a gift. So I'll have money there set aside for that. School books and supplies. This could also be clothes for your kids if they're going to be going to school, backpack, whatever supplies they might need. Clothes, this could be regular clothing for yourself, shoes, or whatever it is that you might need, and you won't feel guilty in getting money from any other places, or even from a savings account, because you'll have money saved up for clothes. You could start saving for a vacation, home repairs, medical. Right now I have a medical debt, so I'm trying to pay that off. Once I pay that off, I'm going to start saving. It's going to start a sinking fund for my medical deductible. That way I'll have that money saved up to pay whenever the time comes that I need to go to the doctor. Eating out could also be a sinking fund. That way you don't feel guilty from grabbing money. You just have that money in that envelope. I mean, at least that's the way that I do it. I have my cash envelopes. You have money there, and you can just say, hey, I'm craving this. Let's go eat. Let's go eat out. Another sinking fund could be camera gear or laptop or even a cell phone. These are my examples of sinking funds. Let me know in the comments below what your sinking funds are. Another question that you might be having is, how many sinking funds can I have? You can have as many sinking funds as you would like. Now, the problem is, do I have enough money for it? So I'm going to do the calculation in a moment. Hang in there. Don't leave. However much money you have left over in your paycheck, you can split it and have as many sinking funds as you would like. There's no magic number for sinking funds that you have to have. Something very important that I wanted to go over were the differences between a sinking fund and a savings account. So I'll go over that one first. A sinking fund can be used whenever you reach your goal and you don't feel guilty in spending that money. So for example, let's say I have $100 in toiletries, then I know that I can go shopping to Costco to fill up for toilet paper, toothbrushes, toothpaste, whatever it is that we need for toiletries. And a savings account is cash that you have saved up or set aside for long-term savings goals. So for example, it could be you're saving up to pay your house off. It's not really anything specific. It's just that you're just saving money to have it there for anything that might come down in the future or long term. Now, sinking fund versus emergency fund. So again, a sinking fund is money that you have saved up and that you have a timeline for it. You're going to spend it for Christmas, for example. You know that that money is going to be gone by December. There's 6 months left in the year, so you'll have that money saved up and then you can spend it for Christmas gifts. So that's just one example. Emergency fund is money that's used in an event of an emergency. For example, if you lose your job, an unexpected expense, a medical emergency. I had an emergency fund. Well, I think it was $1,000 in an envelope for an emergency fund. That emergency did come where I had to have a root canal. And I told my husband, don't worry, I have the money saved up. I have an emergency envelope where we can take the money from. I didn't feel the pressure to think, like, where am I gonna get the money to pay for this? And a root canal is something that it just from one day to another, I started feeling pain in my tooth. And I went to the dentist and he's like, uh-oh, you need a root canal. Let's get it done. And I'm so glad that I was able to get it done soon. The specialist that did my root canal, I forget his name, but he told me, I'm so glad you came in soon because the pain can just start increasing. One day it could be tolerable and then all of a sudden it just gets to that point where you can't tolerate the pain. So, and it doesn't let you do anything else and throughout the day. It's just, it takes over. So I'm so glad that I had that little cash in my emergency fund. So that was an emergency. It's something that I didn't know. It was something unexpected. I didn't know that was going to happen. Another emergency, an unknown here in Arizona. It's starting to get really hot. So something like a possible emergency could be the air conditioning burning out. Oh, Jesus, I pray that this does not happen. As I said with our fridge, quick story, our fridge went out. I didn't have any money in my emergency fund because I had spent it already for my root canal. And then whenever I started saving a little bit more, I had to spend it for medical debt. Unexpected medical bills that started to come in. Another thing that I want to mention is a sinking fund is for the known. Like, you know where that money is going to go. Emergency fund is the unknown, unexpected things that just come in all of a sudden. Let me turn this around. Let's use this as a scratch paper as we would do in school. Now here's an example on how to budget for a sinking fund, and in a moment I'll show you how to do the cash stuffing for your sinking funds. Let's say that you already paid all your bills. You already paid your mortgage or your rent. You paid your electric bill, your gas, water, cell phone, internet. You already set money aside for groceries. Let's say you have all of that covered. Sorry, my writing's going to be a little bit off since it's kind of hard to write straight. I have to tilt my paper a lot. I usually tilt my paper. Let's say your paycheck is $1,000 a paycheck. So that's $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month. With your first paycheck, let's say you paid your bills. So with your first paycheck, your bills were $400. You're going to have $600 left over. Now your second check, you get paid $1,000 again. Your bills for this check were $800. So you have $200 left over. So 600 plus 200 is 800 that you're going to have left over for the month. This total amount, the 800, you're going to subtract $200. Why are you subtracting 200? So 100 is going to savings. And the other 100 is going to emergency. So you're going to end up having $600. Who's not excited to have money left over after they paid all of their bills? This is obviously an example because this is not how much I have left over every month, to make the example easy to understand. So I'm going to be making my sinking funds. I want to have toiletries as a sinking fund. Okay, so these are my sinking funds. I have toiletries, medical. First I have to pay my medical debt, then I'll start saving for my deductible, car maintenance, Christmas, clothing, and car. So for toiletries, I'm just going to make this a very easy, very simple, that way you can understand. We have, sorry, my recording stopped. I was saying that I want to save $600 in toiletries for the rest of the year. For the remainder of the year, we have 6 months left. That would be $600 for the whole, for the remainder of the year. That would be $50 a check, and it would be $100 a month. And I'm going to do the same with my medical deductible. I'm going to save $100 a month. And I'm going to do the same with the rest of them. I'm hoping that you're able to understand this. So for example, let's say for Christmas, you wanted to save also $600. So that would be $100 a month. So you can split it. $50 the first paycheck, $50 the second paycheck, whatever cash you have available and you can budget for. So all of these sinking funds are going to be a total of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. So my total is $600 a month. And that's the total amount that we have left over out of both paychecks, where I have enough cash to budget for all of these sinking funds. This is an example of my budget tracker that I use. So the category here, I'm going to put Christmas. I'm going to put the date, which I'm going to start in July. And I'm going to put here a balance of 100 because I'm going to do my first cash stuffing in the month of July of $100. And every month I'm going to put the date here. So if I cash stuff 100 in the month of August, that's going to be 200. If every month I do a cash stuffing of $100, that would be 100 all the way to 600 at the end of the year. If I'm going to be cash stuffing $50 a paycheck, I could just put the date, the description, the amount that I'm adding. There's a plus right here. Then you're going to write your balance in. Now that we went over all of that, I'm going to share with you an example on how I would do my cash stuffing envelopes. So I have my envelopes here. I had to borrow some money today from my mortgage. I need to go and pay that off. So before I do, I wanted to share this quick example with you all. So I have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and $600. So for example, let's just say that this is what I have left over for the month. I'm going to cash stuff $100 in each of these. So 100 for toiletries, $100 for Christmas, And I'm going to do the same thing to all of these envelopes. That's how I would do my cash. This is how I do my cash stuffings. One more thing that I forgot to mention. Once that time comes around, let's say it's Christmas, you're going to get all of that cash from your Christmas envelope and you're going to go spend it. Whatever is left over, you can put it back in your Christmas envelope, or you can put it in another envelope that you need, wherever you need to save up for. Well, friends, I hope that you were able to learn a little something in this video. I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this video. I really appreciate each and every one of you all. I really hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you for all the sweet comments that you all leave me. God bless each and every one of you all, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.